Sideline Podcast, episode 245. NBA free agency is still going on. The news is starting to trickle in little by little now. Pretty much all of the key major signings have already come and gone, but we still do have some news to cover from over the weekend. Plus, we're still on LeBron watch, so we'll give you the latest updates on that, as well as maybe a key player for maybe a contender just got waived. So we'll see if some of these contenders out there will pick up him on a minimum deal. Also, we got the FIFA World Cup. Round of 16 has started. We'll recap some of the games that happened over the weekend and maybe preview the USA game tonight. So with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. To NBA free agency. A little bit of news, like I said, trickled in over the weekend. Pretty much all the key signings have come and gone. Just I think the big holdup now, guys, is everyone's kind of waiting for LeBron and for him to make his decision. So we'll get on to the LeBron watch in a little bit, but kind of want to update everyone on these signings of the weekend. Let's see. Where are we? Wrong one. Trade wise, we got Finney Smith heading to Charlotte. And Charlotte's getting 3 second-round picks from this. Rockets clear some room because they had to re-sign Eason. They wanted to stay under the second apron. So I think it's a smart move for the Hornets. Finney Smith, 3-and-D guy. Never hurts to get a 3-and-D guy. Any thoughts on this one? Start with you first, Jacob.
Yeah, win move for Charlotte. I mean, it's finally kind of going for the playoffs, acquiring a veteran. It helps some of those young guys. He's been a good player for a long time, like you said, 3-and-D, responsible player, and a veteran that can help the young guys out. I like it for Charlotte, and they get the second round picks for adding the salary. Like that's a pretty solid deal.
Lawrence, thoughts here?
I just like that the Hornets are kind of bringing in wisdom with their veteran moves. Whereas before, some of their veterans were never as positive in the locker room. But I think it's like you said, it's never bad to get someone that's going to shoot some threes and play some defense. I mean, there's just never a way to complain about that.
Yeah, 1% agree with that. Another trade that went down. I was kind of surprised by this one. Lakers are trading Aiden to the Wiz for Jaden Hardy and a couple of picks. So the Lakers, they get 2 second-round picks. They finally get some picks to trade after depleting all of their assets to get Kessler. So I think the Lakers have just these 2 second-round picks and one more pick swap, I think, like way down the road. And of course, the Wiz get Aiden in this deal. I'm not the biggest Aiden fan, but how are you feeling about this one, Jacob?
I mean, I don't like it or dislike it. I think Aiden is a backup center at this point now in the league, and it's a position that we need in. It also provides some flexibility for when Anthony Davis gets injured, if he gets injured. Obviously, I said when because everybody knows. So it's a safe trade. He's not making a ton of money. Hardy didn't do a lot with us. A couple second round picks. We have infinite amount of second round picks. So I like kind of the same thing as the Hornets. I like that the Wizards are being aggressive. Getting big name players is one thing, but getting kind of veterans and kind of just guys to fill out your team. Net positive, but I also agree. I'm not the biggest DeAndre Ayton fan, but hey, he's on the team now, so consider me a fan.
Lawrence, what do you think of the hometown Wiz making this trade for Ayton?
I mean, I don't love it or hate it. I kind of think he may or may not be one of those toxic vibes in the locker room, probably just based on his play sometimes on the court. Probably just going to piss a few people off in the stands and on the bench. I think it's more so for depth. Their goal is to have guys at all positions and be ready. To be honest, I think they're trying to make a whole entire jump over the play-in. I think we kind of talked to this between us, but I actually think that they want to make a jump over the play-in and get straight to the playoffs. And one of the best ways to do that is grow that depth.
Yeah, no, I agree. And before we got to recording, we were talking about potentially with this move, would this kind of limit the minutes AD gets during the regular season in terms of, he doesn't really have to play a lot of minutes because you got Aiden, you got Sar, you even got George who can play some small ball 4 and 5. So if we had to do over under on the minutes per game Anthony Davis plays this year, are you taking the over under at 30? What do you guys think?
I think because it's his first year in Washington, he probably will try to do, and he's going to want to like prove why he wants to get paid that money if he doesn't already get paid that money. I think I would take the over for that because I would put it more so towards like over under at 40 because I think they're going to be wanting him to play at least half the games. So I would probably think over for that, but I would even raise the bar to 40 because
okay, Jacob,
I think he has to prove his contract a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm going to take the under because I think it mutually benefits Anthony Davis and the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he's making money. You want him to play. I just kind of think that if the goal, which the goal should be for Anthony Davis to play in and affect as many games as possible, I think playing him 28, 29 minutes a game for a longer stretch of games, like I'd rather him play 65 games of 28 minutes than I would 40 games of 35 minutes. So I think that the regime, the new kind of front office the Wizards have had, the actual positive turnaround, I think they're smart enough to realize that let's do everything we can to prevent this thing that always gets hurt from getting hurt, and if they're able to do it, then they deserve a medal or an award.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I'm leaning towards the under. I think if I was that new front office, Michael Winger, Dawkins, I'd probably try to get Anthony Davis to play as many games as possible with the least amount of minutes. So, hey, if he can play 70 games at, 28, 29 minutes, and then I would probably feel comfortable giving him that extension, But if he does choose the route that Lawrence is saying and tries to play as much games and minutes as possible, then I'm not sure how I feel about, a long-term contract. Maybe it's best to have both sides go or something. Go to
I
separate
bet he
rates.
doesn't play without the contract, right? Don't you think they're going to extend him before the season starts?
Yeah, they said it's going to start in August though. So I wonder if this is going to be like a training camp thing. Like, does he hold out a training camp if he doesn't get a signed deal? Like, I wonder.
Yeah,
I kind of think that he's gonna get something done before, but that's where I'm on the line or on the fence of he's gonna have to play really hard because he was given that money. Like if they give him that money and then he just doesn't play, they're probably auto thinking immediately, let me just trade this guy because he's obviously not that worthy to us. And this also they keep him and he doesn't get them the LeBron sweepstakes, and then he still kind of plays like an ass. Like I don't know. I think it starts getting deeper and deeper. Of like, what's the point of keeping him? What's the point of hurting our own selves?
No, I definitely get that. Guess we'll see what happens with Anthony Davis and his contract extension as the months go on. To signings, we got a couple of signings, not a lot. Like I said, one signing I think we didn't mention was Keita re-signing for 4 years, $56 million. The Celtics picked up his team option, so I think on top of his team option, I think it's like $60 million over 5 years. So Keita, he's a good starting big. He's like a borderline starter, like 6-man type of big. So I know they got Mitchell Robinson in there now. So I'm not sure if Keita's going to continue to start or they're going to bring him off the bench. But I think either way, a good center for the Celtics, something they've been lacking recently. So any thoughts on this signing?
I like the duo. I like him and Robinson together. I think that they're both fringe guys that you wouldn't want to start all your games, but they're both guys that are better than they're like A backups and like C starters. So like having two of those guys and kind of just mixing and matching and finding the chemistry, I like it and it makes sense.
Lawrence,
I might kind of agree. One thing that the Celtics haven't done since probably like she's probably as far back as like Garnett is like really hone in and focus on like being the big man, being the priority. They've just kind of done it by association back there, which I don't know. I don't know if these two together get you where you want to be at in the playoffs. Now, I don't know if that means development of someone more younger on the team or more moves down the line, but I don't think that this is like playoff worthy uh, defense down here. I mean, well, Mitchell Robinson was kind of a liability. He even broke his finger. But like besides that part, like he was never like a sure thing for the Knicks to keep out there for multiple minutes. I mean, those games where Cat got into foul trouble early, the Knicks struggled almost the whole time, and I feel like there was a little bit of taking advantage of him there. And you give him big minutes in the playoffs. Like, which one of these guys are you trusting for big minutes in the playoffs? Like, I guess that's kind of the new question. The next question, next way to go with it, like who are you trusting in the playoffs to get you kind of far? I don't know if it's anything.
Yeah, we'll see. The Celtics definitely reshaped the roster, so we'll see if how he contributes there. But Big Drum is going to the Knicks. Their replacement for Mitchell Robinson. So the Knicks accomplished their goal of staying under the second apron. I still think they're paying luxury tax, but Andre Drummond is not a bad replacement for Mitchell Robinson. He can grab rebounds too. Not as good defensively, but one thing Big Drummond can do is hit threes now. So I guess that's a positive instead of Mitchell Robinson, who he can't hit free throws and can't do much else but defend and rebound. So what are we thinking on this one? I'll start with you first, Lawrence.
I mean, I think the main reason why anyone goes out and gets Drummond is for the rebounds, and I think that's what they're going to miss that with Mitchell Robinson. I just simply need someone to go out there and play rebounds. I also think this is a good move because we know that Karl Anthony Towns likes to play sort of a stretch big, so he likes to go play point big. He likes to go be over there around the arc. Okay, and now I don't have to worry about you going to go play on the arc because I got a big 7-foot man that's just going to get me rebounds, and he's only going to play about 10 minutes each half maximum. And that's maximum. So go crazy for 5 minutes when you're sharing the court together. Don't even visit the bot. Don't even visit the paint unless you got it.
Jacob, thoughts on Drummond?
I share very much similar output. Drummond's always going to be a guy who gets some rebounds. Probably, like a better free throw shooter than Mitch Robinson because I don't know if there's anybody that's worse. And it's a good way to replace Mitchell without kind of being expensive and staying under the luxury tax. So again, it makes sense. I see their vision.
Next up, Rui stays in LA, but not with the Lakers. The Lakers, I think this was reported over the weekend. The Lakers didn't want to bring back Rui, so he turns his eyes towards the Clippers. I thought Rui would go to the Spurs, but they swung for the fences and got Tobias from Detroit. So, the Clippers not sure what they're doing. We'll talk about it a little bit later with Peyton Watson, but hey, I don't also get what the Lakers are doing. Rui was the Lakers' second best player during the playoffs in both rounds, other than LeBron. So not sure why you wouldn't want to bring him back after all those threes and grabbing rebounds and playing some pretty decent defense. So thoughts on this one, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Rui guy, but you're right. I mean, he was clutch during the playoffs. It makes me think that LeBron wanted him there. If when LeBron left, that they immediately got rid of him first. You're right. He was a key guy, and he'd been there for a handful of years too after coming over from the Wizards. So yeah, Rui's a nice player. Price makes sense. The Clippers, just as a team, are kind of confusing because it's just a bunch of like B's in their locker room, some C's and B's. So I don't really know what their kind of mindset is. Obviously, it looks like they want to win. They're going to try to be competitive, and that depends on the development from some of the young guys. But good for Rui to get the money, but like kind of a puzzling fit. Like, why would the Clippers want him? Why would the Lakers get rid of him? Type of thing.
Yeah, Lawrence, any thoughts on this one?
I don't know. I just don't think that there's I don't know all the hype about getting Rui. I mean, I guess he was pretty good but like 2 years, 25. I mean, I'm not saying it's the worst contract. I'm not saying it's like the best contract. I think it's like a mid contract, but it's also just like gets long balling around it. It's like a mid player. I don't know. I never thought he was amazing on the Wizards. I don't know. I will see this. I will stop the slander a little bit when I guess he does something, but I don't see where the Clippers are going to do anything because they don't even have a full structure of a team yet. And this feels like a piece that's not really filling up any hole that you didn't already have.
Mm-hmm. Totally understand that one. Couple other news-worthy stories here. We got DeMar officially waived by the Kings. The Kings, depending on what they do, I think can get under the luxury tax, which is what they're trying to do. They don't want to be ass and have to pay the luxury tax. So this definitely made sense. We'll see where he ends up. Like I said, I think a lot of teams are waiting for LeBron to make up his mind where he wants to go. Then we also have Peyton Watson. The Nuggets potentially might sign and trade him. So not sure what the Nuggets are doing. So they haven't really made any other signings. I think they brought back Tyus Jones. But other than that, the Nuggets, their offseason is kind of puzzling. I guess there's no takers for, Christian Braun. Or
they're still trying to figure out a way to get rid of Murray.
I've heard that they even turned down some offers for Cam Johnson. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. Any thoughts on the Nuggets offseason so far? Is it smart this sign and trade Watson? Like, wouldn't you want to try to keep him? He really shined last year. I'll start with you first, Jacob.
It depends on the return, right? Because he was really good for them last year, especially when Gordon and Murray were out. So, yeah, I think it makes sense that they'd be shopping some of the bigger contract guys and prefer to keep him. But like you said, it sounds like there's not a lot of interest in that big money for Christian Braun and potentially Murray. So, I don't know. I saw today that Jokic, they announced Jokic is going to sign next offseason and be a Nugget for life. So I guess that's kind of the only thing that matters for them. But I fear it's going to be a Giannis situation where, like, Jokic got his chip and he's cool there, but, like, they need to keep finding ways to build around him. They can't just keep the same stagnant team and get the same, first or second round boot as they have the last couple of years. So hopefully they figure something out. Maybe they just trust in their team and they didn't get good years or good healthy years from some of their guys and just run it back next year. It's not the worst strategy in the world, but we've seen it time and time before. It rarely works. So it is kind of a weird off season, but they still got Jokic, so they'll still be a playoff team.
True that. Lawrence, thoughts on potentially signing and trading Watson?
Well, the only reason they're talking about signing and trading him is because he wants to get paid. Someone's going to pay him, so they can go ahead and set the market for him by paying him. But then immediately dishing him to somebody, I think in return is going to fill out more of their team. Because at this point, I'd be under this presumption that they tried to sell Murray, didn't work, couldn't find a suitor, or nobody wants to have to fork over that much of the contract or meet his contract minimums. Plus, what do I have to bring in now because of his contract? I just think the suitor part for that is not being found. So the only other thing on my team that is valuable to others is this Peyton Watson. So that's why I think they'll try to be the ones that set the market with his contract. But I don't know. I still think I think they feel happy or content is the word that you were saying about Giannis and the Bucks, but I feel like they feel in Denver content with having won a title in the last 10 years. Like that kind of feeling like, man, let's just keep our core. They got us that title. They got us that ring. We don't want to see them go. So they never grow. They never get any better to get back to it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they probably should just shop Watson around, see what the market really is, and don't be too hasty. And then they're tie their hands even more with a bunch of overinflated contracts, and they really don't have assets. So you don't want Jokic, this situation to turn into what just happened with Giannis to the Bucks. So totally agree with you on that one, Lawrence. That's all the free agency news. Like I said, free agency is pretty much over, guys. We're still on the LeBron watch. Don't need to kind of hash that out anymore and no further updates on that. But just quickly, I guess we can run through, who we think had some, I guess, some kind of like slam dunk home run type of free agencies. And then who do we like? What are a couple teams that either we feel incomplete or their off season so far has just been ass. So we got two tiers here. Jacob, what do you think? Teams that have had some home run, slam dunk type of free agencies so far.
I think the Hornets stand out to me, honestly. Not really like the sexiest, but getting rid of Ball and kind of reshaping their team and being focused on making smart moves to help the breakout sort of seems last year.
Yeah.
I think obviously the Heat and the Raptors are the other two big ones in the East, just because of the big trades, getting Kawhi on top of the border and getting Giannis, down in Miami, or just that's most likely going to shake up the Eastern Conference a ton. But I still think that it's going to run through the West, and it's going to be, an interesting sort of see how some of these teams coming off the trades end up, like the Clippers and the Bucks. But yeah, I really don't know. Maybe the Nets. What have the Nets done? The Nets, all they got was Julius Randle, so that has to be the worst. I'll use that. That's an easy one. But yeah, I'll say the Nets for worst.
Lawrence, what are your thoughts on this one? Yeah, slam dunk teams and some teams who just been ass this offseason.
I think we kind of said it as a group. A team that's been ass is the Pistons, because they kind of don't know what direction they would like to go in. With Duran's situation, and honestly, that is a tough one to be stuck at. That's a tough crossroad. But then they didn't help themselves with the people they let go, because they didn't, Tobias Harris. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you probably could have got him for even cheaper than what the Spurs got him for, just because you were on a team winning together. But I think that their hands are so tied about what to do with Duran. They've actually kind of forgotten to do everything else around them, which is actually like put a team together for the next season. So yeah, I guess I'll go Pistons for that, and then a team that I like all the moves that they're doing. I don't know if I would have a perfect team out there, but I have enjoyed. I have enjoyed the Hornets. I think that is one that we have talked about together that I enjoy, and I agree with Jacob on what moves they're doing, because they're getting rid of the kind of the pests, the cancers in the room, and then bringing in a little bit more proven of vets. I guess I would probably say, I don't know, I would probably say the 76ers, because the Jaylen Brown one. I could see one saying like the Heat, just because they're bringing in Giannis, but then what did you actually overall give up? And then I don't know, I'll throw one out there just to spitball it, but just because I don't think they are anything, but they have now a lot of pieces to figure out what they can be, and that's the Bucks, because like the Bucks have a lot of picks. They got a lot of like mediocre players / kind of just above mid average. They got a little bit of toxicity, kind of seems like wherever Kuzma goes, he doesn't win. But they still have a lot of players on that team, and I don't know. There's a lot of different lineups you can use with it. You can kind of be in a little annoying pest inside the East, because there are teams that are really, really far at the bottom. So if you just do a really, really good job at beating the really bad poopy ones, you can kind of make a headache for a 9 or 10 seed down the line. So I would say those are the ones.
Okay. I'm going to try to pick some different ones here. I think winners, of course, Heat landing the biggest fish this offseason. Of course, you got to throw them in the winners. Slam dunks. I would say Utah Jazz. I don't think either of you said the Jazz, but trading Kessler, I mean, they weren't going to pay him what he wanted, and you got the Lakers to not only overpay Kessler, in my opinion, but they also overpaid in assets, like giving up the rest of their stuff. Like, it's ridiculous. So shout out to the Jazz. They honestly, I mean, they're primed to be a play-in team with Peterson. They got Ace Bailey last year. He played well, had a couple 40-point games. And then, of course, you traded for Triple J, and you still got Lauri Markkanen. So I like their front line. Tall, I got a couple defensive guys. Re-signed Nurkic, so I like that. And they have Keontae George, who I think is going to take a big, big leap. He doesn't have to like be on the ball all the time. Like you can kind of dish that off to Peterson, and he can, let Keontae kind of do his thing. So I love the Jazz's moves. Love their team. What other winners? Let's see. Winners. I think the Grizzlies. We got to throw the Grizzlies in there. I mean, getting off of that trio, Bane. They got a bunch of stuff for. They got a bunch of stuff for Triple J. And yeah, they gave away Jaw for peanuts, but they got rid of all, the old regime that didn't really amount to anything, and they can start fresh, and kind of recreate the culture. And they got a bunch of picks to do it too. So shout out to the Grizzlies. I think they're gonna be asked for maybe 2-3 years, but at least they have multiple swings at some good young players. So shout out to them. And teams that have been asked, already kind of hinted at this with the Lakers. I don't know what they're doing. I'm pretty sure Pelinka doesn't know what he's doing. Not re-signing their second best playoff player. Probably overpaying for Austin Reeves, if we want to be honest. And still not finding any defense. I mean, that's been the biggest problem since the bubble was defense. Like, they have very good defense in the bubble. After the bubble, they get rid of everyone, and the defense has been ass ever since. So the Lakers are on there. Detroit taking steps back instead of re-signing key guys doesn't make sense to me. Re-signing or letting Tobias walk and signing John Collins makes 0 sense. What else? Who else would be a loser? Oh, I guess the Celtics. Of course, the Celtics. They miss out on Giannis, and then they have to trade Jaylen Brown. And you get fucking someone called him Percocet P in return. So
yeah, that's worse than Julius Randle, honestly.
So I know that, hey, Sixers, great trade. Celtics definitely set themselves back 2 years. I mean, they're going to be a borderline playing team. I know people have faith in Tatum, but I don't think he can carry this roster like Jaylen Brown did. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think he can. Not saying he's better or not as good, but I don't think Tatum is that type of player. So I don't know. We'll see. Celtics, yeah, they've been ass. Last but not least, we got the World Cup round of 16 started off this weekend. Any of the games you want to run through, Lawrence? I think both host countries are now eliminated, starting with Morocco eliminating Canada on, I think it was Saturday, right? So, and then Mexico losing last night to England.
I mean, I don't know if you watched any of that Mexico game, but the Mexicans kept crying and crying and crying about everything in that game, and they were never getting called on anything that they were doing. They had probably about 3 or 4 yellow cards that just were never given out. And it seemed like every little thing England did was such a bigger deal than it was supposed to be. Which, if that doesn't feel like match fixing, I don't know what is. But I also will say that I think FIFA looks a little weak for just letting Balogun play again. Now, as a rooting for the Americans, I'm like excited and I'm happy for it. But like, you gave him a red, and he's supposed to have 1 game suspension. And yes, I think that he doesn't deserve that red. Didn't deserve the red. You still gave it out. Now you're just taking back suspensions now. Like, and I feel like it's because everyone's clowning him earlier in the tournament, where Messi had that blatant red card. Yeah. Didn't get called any red card for it, and then just kept playing through games. And then, it came out to be a critical point. Like, this is make it or break it for America, pretty much, because this is their best striker. Pretty much the only guy they've had consistently striking, and he's not going to be available. But to most powers, it didn't seem like it was a foul. But you kind of didn't even, you just kind of folded. Like, the United States put pressure on you to change it. Oh, they're a host nation, so now I have to change it. Like, that's how it really felt. It's truly how it felt.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But anywho, I also can't complain because he actually does give us a chance to win said game. I think it'll be a good game against Belgium. I think that Canada actually finally faced a good, decent foe in Morocco and kind of saw who they really were, then they weren't really here to go very far.
Yeah.
I think England put Mexico out of the misery that they needed because I don't think they were that good anyways. I think they just also fed on bad teams and then really used their home field advantage to their liking. I mean, all the things that came out against Ecuador, all the things that came out that they did against England, like literally staying up all night in the streets playing music so they can't sleep.
Saw that.
Canada can't do it because no one's playing in their country anymore. But like United States fans aren't doing that to Belgium. Like, let's have a little decorum here, boys. But I think France-Morocco is going to be a decent watch. I think Morocco they attack at a reasonable amount that they could give fits to France, but I think France overall is just too good. I think Spain is low-key too good for USA or Belgium, so we're going to have to hope for a miracle that we make it through this and then make it through Spain. I think Norway does actually have a good path to beat England. I mean, he sees all these guys. I mean, I'm not talking about Holland here. He sees all these guys regularly in the Premier League. So he's not unfamiliar with all the foes he's going to face on the field. And the one thing Norway does have is England's players are not they're not known to the Norwegian players just because they're not on the same, high elevation of play. But Norway does have a good striking, front force overall. And pretty much the entirety of the strategy is lob it in there and hope that, Holland can get his foot on it or head on it. And it just seems to work. And he's going to know how to take advantage of this England backline.
Jacob, any thoughts on the round of 32 or 16?
Yeah, what a game. England-Mexico game. A lot of theatrics there. Shout out to Holland. That guy's a beast. I didn't realize that he was 6'5", 215. That's a tank of a human being.
A lot of
controversy about Cowherd's comments about like if USA cared about soccer, we could just like we'd have him. And it's like, yeah, if we cared about hockey, we'd have a bunch of Gretzky's from America. If we cared about whatever we care about, like it's like saying if Canada cared about football, they'd find a Mahomes. It's like that may or may not be true, but that's just like a silly thing to say because it just doesn't matter. But shout out to Holland. I do like that guy. I knew of him and like watching him play a little bit. It's like I'm not gonna jump on the Messi or Ronaldo bandwagons. I'm gonna rock my new dude here, Holland and Norway, because why not Norway? Definitely rooting for USA tonight. I've been watching a little bit here and there. Spain pulled it out late today. I think this might be the last time we can expect to win a soccer game. And even saying expect to win this game is not necessarily, an accurate statement just because the lines are pretty split. But I think USA can win this. I think they have momentum. But I think that if we were to get the job done tonight, this would be the last time to reasonably expect them to win. As from here on out, it gets a lot tougher with Spain and then France. And so I think tonight could be a nice celebratory. Let's get to the Final 8, and let's be one of those small schools like George Mason that gets to the Final 4 and is just proud of it. It's like we get to the 8. When we lose, that's okay. Like 8 is pretty impressive. I think everybody rooting for America would have taken the Final 8 going into this World Cup. So hopefully they get the job done tonight. But it's been fun. I've been watching a lot more soccer than I ever would. So it's been a good World Cup. Stars are showing out.
Yeah, shout out USA. Hopefully they get it done tonight. Definitely surprised me and gone further than I thought. So hopefully they get the dub tonight, and we'll see what happens in the next round. But yeah, that's all I got. Anything else that we missed before we head on out?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'm pretty sure we're going to have another episode this week, so we can talk about UFC then and there.
Sounds good. Well, we're going to head on out, guys. The game's about to start. Go USA. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening on Spotify. And we will see you guys later this week. Peace.